Okay. Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Please excuse me for the reflection of the night light. It feels warm and family, right? Okay. Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Such a beautiful, beautiful evening. So I have finished the book of Odysseus, the adventures of Odysseus. So now this is another book, the Homer's, the Iliad. And when I learned world history in my middle school, that was some 40 years ago, or almost 50 years ago, and we heard about 荷马史诗《伊利亚德》《奥德赛》，and I always heard it, but the epic poem 荷马史诗, I never really knew it. To my surprise, after 50 years, I start to read it, and so here I am. I want to read it to understand a little bit. And well, if you have read it and you have a lot to share, and just I am quite ashamed of not knowing it, and well, it is always good to learn something, right? And if I feel ashamed and not to read it, that's no good. Feel ashamed but still read it. That will help me. The Iliad, retold by Gillian Cross, illustrated by Neil Parker. The golden apple, the golden apple, the golden apple. This is such a huge character book, and I love it. And this might be the first time this book is borrowed. And I have borrowed another book that is completely new. I love it. And I want to buy a pair of gloves to read this book because it's so new. Anyway, I washed my hand. This is the story of a bitter quarrel between two proud and powerful men. The quarrel grew into a war that brought death to hundreds of brave heroes and destroyed one of the great cities of the world. And yet, it started with something very small. Isn't it true? The proud of two big, powerful men can bring death to so many great souls and destroy the world. The golden apple, it all began with an apple, a golden apple, engraved with dangerous words. For the most beautiful. What? This is asking for trouble. So this is why in kindergarten, in my first grade, in any class, you do not give one trophy. You give everyone a trophy. You give everyone a sticker, and everyone get an award for something. You have to be equal to everyone. And now our people are becoming so sensitive. We are becoming so, so, so comfortable with granted equality, which is very untrue, which is impossible. There is no second place like the saying in American Cup, for the most beautiful. 3 goddesses tried to claim it, but which of them really was the most beautiful? Was it Hera, the wife of Zeus, king of the gods, or Athena, the goddess of wisdom, or Aphrodite, the goddess of love? To settle the argument, the 3 goddesses left their home on high Olympus and went to find Paris, Prince of Troy, the most handsome man in the world. They found him on Mount Ida, where they appeared in front of him in all their loveliness. This is the most beautiful prince in the world. This painting is a little bit, and these are 3 goddesses. This is the prince, Paris. The painting is a little bit, I like the big character in any case. Who should have this apple, they said. Choose one of us. Paris was dazzled and terrified. Gosh, the 3 most powerful, beautiful, and magnificent lady come in front of my face and ask who is the most beautiful. How dare I say anything, right? If you give me 3 most handsome men, I will faint it. I will not even know what to think. Anyway, they are better than me. There is nothing to do with yanghaiying you to begin with. But the 3 goddesses were determined to have an answer. They began to offer him bribes. So when you are in front of 3 most beautiful women and you cannot make decision and you have to decide from your side, but on the other side, the ladies' side, everyone wants to be the most beautiful, and for a poor young man who cannot decide, what can we do? Bribe comes from thousands of years ago. It's in our DNA, bribery. Choose me, said Hera. I will give you power and make you a great ruler. Hera, you know, my hubby is Zeus. You better not to get into trouble with Zeus. Choose me, said Athena. I will ensure that you win all your battles and become a famous warrior. Aphrodite smiled silkily. Oh, Paris. Choose me, she murmured. and you shall have the most beautiful woman in the world for your wife. Aphrodite's bribe was the one that delighted Paris, but it cast a long and deadly shadow. The most beautiful woman in the world was Helen of Sparta, and she was already married to Sparta's king Menelaus. Aphrodite knew that, but she promised Helen to Paris, and she stretched out his hand and gave her the apple. Ooh. So, in other different stories, it's kind of not exactly Aphrodite pushed the apple, to Paris. Paris was hesitating, and she heard that he heard that he can got Helen. Well, between power, between money, between car, between anything, what can be better? A young man of 20-something, when the hormones start to come, nothing can control. Of course, he wants what he wants, right? Okay. And the quarrel that began on Olympus boiled over into the human world. With Aphrodite's help, Paris set out to steal the king of Sparta's wife. He was already handsome, but she made him irresistible. Dazzled and entranced, Helen left her husband, and she and Paris ran off to Troy together with a ship full of Spartan treasure. Menelaus was outraged. So was his brother Agamemnon, 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 A-G-A-R-G-A, M-E-M, nom, N-O-N, Agamemnon, High King over all of Greece. The two brothers called on the other kings of Greece to help them fetch Helen back. The quarrel that started with an apple spread wider and wider. In every part of Greece, kings gathered their armies. Fleets of long ships set sail for Troy, carrying heroes with names that will live forever. Quick-witted Odysseus of Ithaca, wise old Nestor, king of Polis, valiant Diomedes from Argos, and noble Ajax, who ruled Salamis. Mightiest of all was Achilles. Of course, he's a hot guy. He is a chili. Achilles. A-C-H pronounced key. A-C-H-I-L-L-E-S. Achilles. Achilles. Mightiest of all was Achilles, the great runner, son of the sea nymph Thetis. Thetis, Thetis, sea nymph, Thetis. His bronze armor gleamed as he led his fierce Myrmidon soldiers onto the ship. Fierce, as he led his fierce Myrmidon soldiers onto the ships. Mydon, Midon. The Greeks attacked as soon as they landed on the Trojan coast. But Troy was not an easy city to conquer. It was protected by rivers of two sides, and and surrounded by strong, high walls. And King Priam Paris' father, refused to hand Helen back. Instead, he called on his allies to help him defend the city. He had 50 sons. 50. Gosh, he was productive. Well, 50 sons. And might be many mamas. How can a mama make 50 sons? This is a myth. He had 50 sons, every one of them ready to fight for Helen and her treasure. They were all brave men. But the bravest of all and the noblest warrior was Prince Hector, tamer of horses. The Greeks could not fight their way into Troy, but they refused to live without Helen. Pulling their long ship up onto the beach, they built huts on the shore and settled down to lay siege to the city. No one guessed how long it would take. 9 years later, they were still there, living in the same cramped huts. They were still fighting battles on the plain in front of Troy, still trying to breach the city wall. They would not give up and abandon the war, but all of them longed for the homes they had left behind in Greece. No wonder they began to quarrel among themselves. So the Trojan War started from a golden apple, from a cursed word, the most beautiful, for fighting for first, fighting for the first, wanting to have the first, the desire of being the first, the only one, can destroy the world. And the war started with the sword. Okay, brothers, the Greek brothers, Menelaus, brothers, sisters, brothers, come, the Greek kings come, fight with me, and we will nail that little buddy guy, Paris. We will scream him. We will smash him. But 1 week didn't finish, 1 month didn't finish, 1 year didn't finish, until 9 years, and still not yet totally finished the war. Athena, Hera, do you really need to debate who is the most beautiful with this picture? Kind of. Anyway, Athena, Hera, Agamemnon, Achilles, Odysseus, Ajax, Patroclus, Menelaus, Diomedes, Nestor. This must be on the Greek side. Nestor on the Trojans. On the Trojan side, Aphrodite, Apollo on the Trojan side. Oh my. Priam, Hector, Paris, Hecuba, Helen, Aeneas, Dolon, Briseis,